Play ball.
We won a game. Kanahara. I was already ready
All
to
is not
write.
lost.
I was ready to write that team off. Well, I'm a typical bandwagon kind of person, as you well know, and 0-3, and the excruciating way the Red Sox have been losing, I just couldn't bear
And
it already.
people are very angry. Everybody, the pundits, the sports writers are so upset with this team.
Well, it just
fans are
feels
even
like
upset.
everything new is old again. You know, what
Like it
was
didn't
last
end.
year is this year. That's what was going on. And if we had started 0-4, I'm sure our bridges would have been filled with people. So thank the Lord for Dustin Pedroia and Adrian Gonzalez for saving the game last night, and we are now 1-3. Woohoo.
And we're glad to know that the GM got married on last
Yes,
week, right?
and she's another cutie patootie.
Yes, she is.
Does any athlete or owner of a team ever marry or go out with anybody that's unattractive?
No.
No.
I guess
So
that
there is
leaves
to
us
it.
out, doesn't it?
Well, I've heard so.
Maybe we're too big.
I think Big Poppy would like me.
I think you would like
know
Big Poppy.
Big Poppy would like me, by the
By
way.
the way, we're going to a game. We're excited
Yes,
about it,
Patriots
too.
game. 11 a.m. Someone
Very
set my
odd.
alarm. Very weird. Although I just heard today it's
I'll
going to
have
be
a hot dog
75
anyway.
to 80
I know.
degrees. Woohoo! Because I have been at that 11 a.m. game where it's been like 40 degrees.
I know.
And you freeze your you-know-what
Or
off. And
raining.
it's miserable. Or raining.
This
And
is-
then it's cool because you run out and you see the marathon.
That's really, I was going to say, what our fans who are not in the greater Boston or Massachusetts area may not know is that on Patriots Day, which is a unique Massachusetts holiday, we're not terribly patriotic, but we do have the Boston Marathon that day, which you may have heard of. And so therefore, ergo, there is always a home game, and it always starts at 11, and it has to end before the first runners, usually a Kenyan, come running over.
Always a Kenyan.
Always a Kenyan. Come running over the finish line, or running past Fenway Park.
Well, they have to run past, Kenmore Square. So if you start at 11 and you end at, well, if it's a Red Sox game, you might end at 5. But normally you would end at 2.
You're not,
That's
where's that
right.
positive attitude?
Oh, yeah, that's the new me. Normally that's about the time the first Kenyan comes through Kenmore Square, about 2 o'clock. So it works out
Perfectly.
All right. Let's move right along to obesity, and we
Since
want
we're
to make
Fenway
things
Park.
very smooth. No, what do you think
By the
about
way,
this Texas hospital?
This is my breakfast. Not good. Not good. Not good
At
again.
least it's got some vitamins and minerals,
I know.
but it's just not going to fill
Not
you
good.
up.
It's
is
not
the
good.
problem.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
But there's a Texas hospital, I think it's called Citizens Medical Center, that will no longer hire people who are overweight.
Well,
what do you
we're
think about
grossly overweight.
No, I'm
Obese.
sorry. I am sorry. Is someone
It says
5
obese.
foot? I know it's what it says. Is someone 5'10" and 240 pounds that huge? I mean, I've seen men, 250 pounds, 6 feet tall. That's not an outrageous
It sort of
weight
depends.
to me.
Are they solid or are they?
My
belly
yoga
fat?
instructor Ben went to his doctor and she said your BMI is too high because he's pure muscle.
Mhm.
He's pure muscle. This is a man who is not, Ben.
Yes.
You've met Ben.
Gorgeous
Is he
man.
an overweight man? Is he an overweight man?
Not by a long
No,
shot.
but his BMI is high. So that is, although I
What do you think
support,
about us? Would we be able to work at
we
this hospital?
might just slither in. Slither in.
But the real question is how do we feel about employers drawing a line in the sand saying you've got to be healthy, no smoking?
I think for
And
a doctor, I think that's good. I do.
Or a
I
nurse,
wouldn't want
or a nurse.
or a nurse, or I guess, I wouldn't care as much.
I don't want to smell it. First of all, if I
PA or
ever
someone
smell
like
smoke
that.
in the hospital, it would make
Yeah.
me gag.
And I've smelled smoke on doctors before.
Oh, that's just
on
vile.
doctors before.
In fact, I just this morning was working out and smelled somebody at
Yeah,
my
I've smelled it
gym.
at the gym. I've smelled
It's like it makes no
cigarettes at the
sense.
gym.
What are you
No.
on your way to the gym
Yes.
smoking a cigarette?
Well,
What is that about?
You remember? Did you ever smoke? Yes.
I know.
It is an
It's
addiction.
awful.
It's nicotine, and it's an addiction. So you will
See
find
people who have throat cancer who are smoking.
But I
cigarettes.
know that if you sit with a
Oh.
doctor who says to you, you need to lose some weight, you can't help but look at that doctor and think, oh, so do you,
Mm.
if they do. And it's very hard to take advice from someone who doesn't follow their own advice. So that's, I think, the genesis of this concept. They want their doctor, they want their staff to be role models to the patients and to their clients. And I think in a hospital setting that is acceptable.
So is it acceptable at a marketing agency?
No. I don't think so. What difference does that make? I mean, to me, it would be bad to hire someone who's uncreative.
I'll tell you what.
I'll take a fat creative person over an uncreative thin person.
The difference that it makes is that it impacts your insurance costs.
That's a different story. That's a different story. That's different than this.
Well, that's
this is about,
right.
Walking the walk,
But
basically.
in fact, the other reason is that you're hiring people who they smoke, and they're obese.
And your insurance, as a small business owner, which
Right.
we are, it is an issue for us because, the more our people get pregnant or get ill or whatever they go through, that raises our health
Gotta
insurance
start
rates.
hiring more baby
So we're
boomers,
just going
right?
to hire skinny men. Skinny, young
Skinny,
men.
older.
No, young, very
Oh,
young men.
But
yes.
older women who can't get pregnant.
Ah,
No,
yes.
kidding. We're only
so
kidding.
menopausal women and young women. That's what we're doing. That's where we're going. But anyway,
So that's one issue
this
that
is.
we wanted
I
to
think
talk
this is
about.
interesting, and really the concept is this discrimination? Probably in a court of law.
It might be.
They might be.
But
able
I
to
totally,
sue
as an
this
employer,
hospital.
I totally understand.
I get it, and as a patient, I like it because I don't want a doctor
I agree.
that smokes.
And as an employer, frankly, as a person, as a professional person, I like it.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because I think it encourages people to be a little bit healthier.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about this week because I know you're in a rush today.
I am. I have
Okay,
to go to
all
Mount
right,
Hope
okay.
Hospital.
But we wanted to
meeting.
talk about a recent Wall Street Journal story this week. Big story about, when you're working with folks who, like Janet and I, are business partners. She wants to retire really early, young. I probably will keep
Probably
working.
missed the boat on that. I don't like the really young thing, but younger than you.
Yeah, like next year, maybe.
Well, I don't think I can realistically
And
do
so
that.
it's good. We should talk about that. It's a good boomer issue,
It's
and
a
we should
great
discuss
issue.
that.
And just this alone, this is mainly about married couples,
Yeah.
so it's a little different
Yeah.
than business partners, but it says 62% of couples don't agree on when they are going to. That's stunning to me.
And it also raises the question of, do you even have a retirement plan
Right.
at all?
Right. You know how people.
Mine is, I just won't retire, and therefore I don't need a plan.
There's your plan. But so many, you always hear about couples saying, we really need to do some estate planning. We really should think about
they just never
a
get
will
to
and
it.
a living will and all of this.
But we have
And
all of
then they
that.
don't realize they also need to do a little retirement planning. Because heaven forbid you get to the age you're both 62 and he's like, and now finally I'm 62 and I can join the Peace Corps like I've always dreamed of. And she's like, what? I'm going to Aruba, which has been my dream. And suddenly you're both 60 years old and you are on the furthest end of the spectrum. And I think that's an interesting situation.
So we'll also provide
All right,
we'll provide a link to this article, but we'll also talk about it a little bit more next week. Okay, have a great week. Stay healthy.
Go Sox.
Peace and love